Cody, tell me a little bit about. Let's talk. We're actually on an old football field here that you used to romp around on when you were a kid. You know, and it's kind of surreal sitting at a picnic table at a little league football field that you used to run around in as a kid and go and do your thing. But now here it is. You're off and on your way to college. So talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about how excited you are about where you're going, and tell the people at home where you're going to be playing this fall.
I'm going to Mayville State University up in North Dakota. It's a NAIA school. It's a little place. It's really cool. It's a nice town. The food is pretty good. You know, that's the first thing I was hoping for when I got up there. It's a really nice place. The coach has been talking to me since I was a junior. I really started Coach Copeland, who isn't there anymore, but was recruiting me. And he left, but he was the one he actually went to JCA. So it was cool to get to talk to him and everything, and, you know, just get to know the staff before I even thought of football. So, you know, it was pretty fun. It was awesome. The recruiting process was fun, going to all the schools, getting to meet, you know, new coaches. I'm all a big fan of, like, you know, knowing everything about the sport, being a student of the game. So it was fun to see different perspectives from new coaches.
You know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, too, because you get to leave high school and you really don't know, you know, what's in store for you. I mean, you're leaving home for the first time. Yeah. You're not going to be anywhere close by where you can just hop in a car and drive home. And so are you a little apprehensive just leaving the area and finding out what's out there? It's almost like being in a fish tank and then jumping into the lake.
Yeah, you know, I'm not afraid to leave. You know, I'm all about branching out and, you know, learning new things, meeting new people. So it doesn't scare me to leave. I've been talking to my roommate for a while now, so it's not like I'm going to walk right in and, you know, hi, how you doing, first day with that guy. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for the adventure of going off and living life.
Talk a little bit about, you know, what drew you to the sport of football, you know, as a kid. I mean, you played everything. I mean, I've known you for a lot of years, too, but you played a lot of different sports. What was about football that you gravitated to? And what made you so successful at it in all the years? I mean, from the time you were a kid in youth football till now, you've always been one of the top players. Yeah,
you know, just at first, when I first got into it, it was, you know, my dad asked me, hey, do you want to play baseball or do you want to play football? And I said football, and then from there it just went on. When I got into the little Spartan League out here, it taught me how to hit, everything. The more I played football, the more I started to love it, because as the years went on, I just started gravitating away from all the other sports and getting closer and closer to football. Because as the years went on, coaches were like, well, you know, you're really good at this sport, but really you should start to really focus on football. And I was all over the place. I was playing like 3 sports a year. You know, I didn't have a number one sport. I loved everything. I'm a competitive person. You know, put me in any sport, I don't care. I tried doing the 100-meter in track just because I was competitive. I wanted to do it. But football has always been that thing for me where I feel the most comfortable and I can go out on the field, do what I have to do, and it's like second nature to me. I could put a helmet and shoulder pads on right now and go out on the field and just do anything.
You know, you had a great experience at the youth level, but let's talk a little bit about Joliet Catholic and part of it is the allure of JCA and you know, did it live up to all your expectations? I mean, you got to see a couple of state championships, but you know, both times, but you know, it killed us too because we were out there watching it. But you know, you guys fell short twice to Montini. You know, that had to be a bitter pill a little bit for you as a junior and a senior. Yeah. But talk a little bit about your experience there with Coach Dan Sharp and some of the players that you got to play with.
You know, it was awesome. It was an awesome 4 years. I made some friends for life, definitely. Getting in there, again, just being a student of the game, going there and them teaching me more stuff. You know, when I got there, lifting at Rudy's, you know, I wasn't really a big lifter. And then from my freshman and sophomore year on, just, you know, getting into Rudy's and working out every day. It was just playing there. I definitely took away more from it, and it definitely taught me lessons that I'm going to keep with me for when I go up to college.
There's a sense of tradition at that school, and I think that's the same thing at universities too. They look for those kids that can see their tradition. You know, at any point during your time there, did you ever feel like, hey, you know, where am I going to fall in the lure of history with this school? I mean, did it ever, like, you know, when you're sitting out on the field and you think, hey, where's my team going to fall, and what do people say about us 10 years down the road?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely hard because, you know, state championship every year is, like, what that school is looking forward to. And, you know, a perfect example for this year. You know, we weren't too hot. You know, we lost Ty at the beginning. I went out in the first game. I came back 2 weeks later. This year was really just a fight the entire way through. I'm proud of everyone who played because no matter win or loss, every single game this year, we never gave up. It was an awesome experience. You know, I hope, obviously we had Ty in the team, so, you know, players and coaches will look back on that and talk about it, but I hope they just talk about the team who went from freshman year to winning one game and being ecstatic about winning one game, sophomore year winning one game, and then, you know, junior year going to state, you know, and then senior year 5-4, and then but getting one game away from state. And I'm pretty sure no one thought that we would go that far.
Yeah, talk a little bit about, too, you know, what was it like for your parents and for your family members? I mean, obviously, you know, when you start playing football, mom and dad are always ultra supportive, but they're also your biggest critics, too, you know? So
yes.
Talk a little bit about, you know, what can you say looking back now? How important was it to have your parents' involvement? And although I'm sure, like a lot of players in your position, and at your point in life, it's real easy to say, hey man, just I got this, you know, and they kind of put their hand up. But how important was it to know that they were in the stands and they were there for you?
Definitely, you know, my dad has always been the biggest person, you know, pushing me. You know, I could have a great game, but when you come off the field, you know, you could have done that one more thing right. So, you know, he was always the biggest fan, and he'll let you know what you did wrong. You know, just anyone having their parents there, it's going to push them even harder. You know, there were times where I would look up to my dad in the stands just to, you know, look at him, you know, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, who knows. Just, you know, looking at him like, hey, I need something from you. So, yeah, it's always good to have the parents there, and I think them being there all the time really helped me go farther.
So have they assigned you a jersey number yet? I mean, when you finally decided where you're going to go, and I know you had options. You had options to go a lot of places. But when you finally decided that this felt right for you and you wanted to go there, at what point did they assign a number to you? Or have they done that yet?
They actually haven't assigned me a number yet.
You got to earn it then.
Yeah. They're saying they want me to play tight end. I think I could play any position they really want me to. I'm confident about it. So, you know, it would probably be when I played tight end at JCA for senior year, they had me as number 82. So, you know, I would like to take that into college just because I look at Kobe Fleener as when I started playing tight end, I started learning from him. So, and especially him going to JCA too, it was cool to get that number.
You know, there's a lot of expectations heading into your young adult life now, and you know, and I don't want to skip a whole you know, career path, but what about the NFL? Is that something is that still a dream of yours? I mean, like okay, now I'm done with high school, now I'm in college. You know, what do I got to do to get to the next level, and what do I got to do to get through this one? Definitely,
that's always been my biggest dream. You know, even teachers saying, "What do you want to be when you're older?" I didn't say anything else but playing the NFL. That's always a dream. I'm still going to work hard no matter where I'm at to get towards that. Recently, my mom came out of nowhere and asked me, what did I think about the CFL? You know, just in case. You never know. There are people end up over there too. Yeah, but definitely professional ball is something I'm still really looking forward to do, and can't wait to see if it does happen.
Well, there's a lot of professional teams out there, but, you know, like you said, right now, it's going to come right down to, you know, you got to get back out there. I think it starts around August 16th, 17th, something like that for you.
Yeah, I leave August 10th. Check-in is August 11th, and we start conditioning testing and practicing August 12th. So get there and get right into it.
I bet you'd like a little bit of this weather because, folks, we're right now we're enjoying this 69, 67 degree weather, whatever it is.
It's a really nice day.
Yeah, it's a perfect day for football. It's kind of a good time to talk about it. You know, what do you want to do when you get to college? I mean, what's your backup plan? I mean, you're not going to make the NFL. Maybe you decide to go into coaching or whatever. What are you going to study when you go to college? Or are you just going to take basic studies first and then pick a major?
You know, I'm kind of undecided now. I've had something that I've been leaning towards. I definitely want to be a coach. If I don't go professional, I really want to stay around football. That's something I'm really definitely going to do. My major so far, I've liked physical education, just because I love sports. I love being around them. So, that's a job where you're going to be around sports every single day of your life. I'd like to be something around sports. I don't know yet. Once I get up to college, I'm going to talk to other people. I'm going to talk to coaches and just see what there is out there. But definitely a sports type job. I'd like to stay around sports.
So you got a lot to look forward to, and what's the one thing that you don't want to see happen this year? What's the one thing? What's one of your biggest fears of what could happen this season?
Coming off, I broke my leg 6 months ago in a car accident. Going through rehab with that, and then just hitting the gym so I could get better. And that's definitely one of my biggest fears, was not being ready for this season, just because I was so scared that when it happened, I was just in tears thinking about, that it was over. But, I pushed through it. All my rehab doctors and stuff helped me, and I actually came back even better than I was before. So, it's really something. It made my expectations go way up.
I think you'll find as you get older, too, that the scars kind of give you your identity.
Oh, yeah,
the bumps
definitely.
and bruises and the scars along the way, that's what makes you a better player, a better person. Talk a little bit, too, let's, talk about maybe Romeoville and you grew up here, you've been here your whole life, you got a lot of friends here. I mean, how difficult is it for a young guy like you to leave your friends? I mean, you really... You gotta pack up and you gotta move on. Do you think you're gonna be homesick?
I have friends here that I definitely will talk to even while I'm up at school, and always hope to come back to see. I will miss Romeoville. It's a place I grew up in. It's awesome. Just everything here. It's just got that little town mentality where everybody. Mostly everybody, and it's just a nice place to be. Like right now, it's just nice and quiet, sitting out here. I'm not scared to leave. I will miss it though. So yeah, it will be something to look forward to when I come back around Christmas time or summertime.